Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tearing It Up. This is very special out there because if you're listening via audio, well, we're live right now. I'm in person with a friend here, and we're also on a dock at Donner Lake in Truckee, California. So we're out in the wild. So if you hear some, sounds out there, it could be cars driving by, the water from boats driving, but it's really cool, really special podcast. First one in person in the wild in an environment like this, and yeah, I'm just really excited. And I'm also really excited to have our guest here today because I've seen your name around. I think we have mutual friends and things like that, but I don't think I've gotten to meet you until this morning.
This morning on the dock.
So I have Julie Bacon here, and she's of the Mothership Collective and has done lots more around this area, but what we're going to talk about today is what she has going on with the Mothership Collective. We'll dive into that, but as you all know, we'll also hear the background on how you got here, to the Mothership Collective, how it all came about. But yeah, it's funny, I usually start too with okay, guest, tell us where in the world you're recording right now.
We are in beautiful Truckee, California.
Well, how long have you been in the Tahoe area?
So I've been in Tahoe for about 8 years. It was like a classic Truckee story where I came for 3 months and I haven't left for 8 years now.
That is how it always happens. And like you mentioned, the classic story is people come for the winter and then end up staying for the summer and then just stay, because that's also my story. Came for a winter, then, a friend of mine and I were like, well, let's check out the summer, but we could only get a year lease. And so we end up staying a whole another year. And then now 10 years later, it's still here.
It's every season is better than the last.
Yeah.
We love summer. We love the big winters. Yeah, it just sucks you in.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's beautiful, and it's so hard to leave when look at us right now. Like I said, sitting on the dock in just beautiful, perfect weather. And it's usually really easy at this time of year, mid-July, to kind of get a little salty, kind of feel like that elitist local feeling I can't go do anything because too many people are here. But then you score a dock on a Wednesday and you're this is why I live here.
Yes. I don't think there's any morning I've woken up here where I don't look out at the Sierra Crest and think to myself, this is the most beautiful place ever. I'm so lucky to be here.
I know. It's just gorgeous. So gorgeous. And yeah, I just can't get over it. I'm really excited that we're here in person and doing this the way we are. But let's dive in a little bit to your story and background. We talk a lot about the outdoor industry on this podcast, or how our lives relate to the outdoors. And I tell people a lot, well, I guess I used to not like saying it was an outdoor podcast, right? Because I didn't want to be niche and put in a box, because I want to talk to women in sport or just entrepreneurs, anything. But what it always comes down to is that our souls are rooted in the outdoors. So that's kind of what I say. It's a podcast largely related to the outdoors, but our souls are definitely rooted in the outdoor spaces. Not every person on the podcast is in the industry or an industry professional, but what do they do for their soul? They get outside, ride their bike, hike, walk, run, whatever. So being here in this region, I'm sure that what draws you to staying is all of this fun stuff we get to do. But where did it all start for you? Where, as a child, were you out and about or involved in sports? Or let's hear it all.
Yeah, so I grew up in New England. I did not grow up as a super outdoorsy person. My main experience as a child getting outside, really when I was a teen, is my parents would take us to the White Mountains. And that was my first type 2 sufferfesty experience in life. I grew up in a big family. There's 4 of us kids, and we'd be out doing the presidential range in hail and crazy weather and just loving it. And that was really my main outdoor experience growing up. Was once a year. I was actually an Irish step dancer.
Shut up.
Which may have to show you
Yes,
later.
that's a dream of mine. I wish I was one.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, it was my parents went to see Riverdance when I was little. We at the time thought we had Irish heritage. Turns out we're actually Scottish. But dedicated 15 years of my life to hardcore competing in Irish step dancing. So
wow.
yeah, I wasn't super outdoorsy, but played a lot of sports, danced. And then out of college, I moved to Asheville, North Carolina. And that for me, like the Blue Ridge Mountains are where I really fell in love with the outdoors. You know, they're like some of the oldest mountains in the world. They're so beautiful. And yeah, I started trail running, and as soon as I discovered mountain biking, I never ran again. Yeah.
I love that. I'm so happy to hear you're not a runner, because I am not either. And I recently used it as an analogy of like just in the workplace where, you know, people go out for smoke breaks and you feel like you're left out, that you don't smoke because you don't get to go out and hear the gossip and the tea and whatever back in the day when that was more popular anyways. Well, in this industry, I feel like the outcast not being a runner. Like, no, I did not go on that trail run before work with you all.
No.
Or at that trade show, like I'm not going on that trail run or whatever. But like, yes, I love to ride my bike. Like, where the fuck are all the bikers?
Yes. I couldn't agree
Why do
more.
we all have to run?
Yeah, I know. As soon as I discovered it, I was like, forget that. That's not for me. Never loved it. But I appreciate people that do run.
Yes.
Like, so much respect.
I know, it's amazing. I wish I enjoyed it. I do. And I try every once in a while to like do it again and be like, I can be a runner. And just can't.
Well,
just not for me.
I'm here for you.
I love
bike
it.
team, unite.
Love that.
So yeah, Asheville is where I fell in love with the outdoors. I was actually in the healthcare industry for 3 years before I jumped into the outdoor industry. I was like working for a residency program, and like I would buy cow's feet and like pig's ears, and we would, you know, suture them with resident doctors.
Oh my God, wow.
It was like a very, very interesting time in my life. But I took a chance on an agency, Darby Communications in Asheville.
Really?
Yeah, that was my first, outdoor industry stint.
Oh, that's so cool. I've been hearing a lot about them lately. At this other podcast I listen to, The Rock Fight, Darby does a lot of work with them, and I've talked with a couple of the gals from there a few times. They've connected me with some other people to like be on the podcast, and so that's really cool that you started out over there.
They're the best. Yeah, Coral Darby took a chance on me, and really I was just obsessed with Astral at the time, like hardcore, and I knew that was one of their clients.
Oh.
And they needed someone, an account coordinator, to handle Astral, and so that was my first account at the agency, and it was a total dream to be working with like PFDs and footwear and the Astral crew because they were local.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I was there for 3 years. Really just, I felt like I got my master's degree in PR and marketing, went to a lot of outdoor industry events, and 3 years in, I decided to move to Truckee. And that's when I started my own agency called Hot Skillet Media.
Oh, I love it.
Play off of Bacon, my last name. And that was great. My first client was Deso, and I started working with Granite Gear and High Bear. High Bear is another awesome local brand. And yeah, I did that for about 5 years. I was marketing director for High Bear for a while, bopped in and out of like in-house marketing work and then my own client work. But that was great. I learned so much on my own and just loved like owning my own schedule, choosing my clients who cared about the outdoors, cared about the products they were putting out into the world. And then as of a year ago, now I work for Bonfire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it Bonfire Collective? Okay.
It is, yeah. And they are based out of Golden, Colorado. My main client is the National Forest Foundation.
Oh, wow.
It's like so cool to work for. And yeah, I've just been doing marketing for them. And the Mothership Collective has grown on the side of all of that.
That is, all of that's so amazing. And I just love all these different connections that have come like just full circle with the podcast, like, and again, like connections to the outdoor industry, Darby Communications. And how did you get to Truckee? Like, what made you decide to come to Truckee?
So my oldest sister is in Reno.
Okay.
She has 2 kids. I came out here for her wedding and was like, okay, I'm gonna need to spend some time out here. This is crazy. And her in-laws had like an extra house, like a cabin we could stay at in Truckee. And so we came for the summer. Actually, we were road tripping to Truckee. We got to Jackson. Before we were even here, I told my partner, I was like, yeah, we're not going back.
Oh, man.
I saw the Tetons, and that was it for me. Yeah, just fell in love with how big the West is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't spent much time in the East at all. But that is one thing I always hear is just like the mountains are a lot bigger over here, and that's what gets a lot of people is when they come from the east and see the west, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But not to say that like the east has its own type of beauty and outdoors area. Like I haven't been to Asheville, right? But it is a mecca itself. So I need to get over there and experience all that for sure. I definitely want to. I do not think that I'll be able to be pulled away from the West long term whatsoever.
Come with me on an Asheville tour. I'll take you to the best fried chicken spots. They have amazing biking. Like Pisgah National Forest is the best.
Yeah.
So we'll have to go.
Yes, definitely. I really do want to make some trips out there. And what's the other like sleeper mountain bike town? Bentonville.
Oh, Bentonville.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a friend about Bentonville yesterday.
Isn't like so much a sleeper now, right? Like people know about it, but it felt like it came out of nowhere. Like, here's Bentonville. And people are like, wait, what?
And
Like,
Walmart, I think they were paying people like $10,000 to move there plus a free mountain bike. Like, there was some amazing incentive to go.
Yeah, they were, that whole family was getting people in that area, and yeah, I want to go see it all for sure.
Cool.
I need to get out there. There's so many places still in the West I need to go. I need to go to Jackson. That's also been on my radar a lot lately, and just explore Montana more. You know, a lot of the people we've had on the podcast who are kind of spread out. I'm like, I want to go to every single one of these places that like you came from or that they're like based in and whatever. But
yeah, you need to go on the road.
yeah, absolutely. And you know, actually thinking about the date, and by the time that this is out, which is like the 20-something of July, our Road to Rome campaign should be live. So speaking of going on the road out there, people, we are having a little campaign to get us to Rome Fest. As you know, we're taking the podcast to Rome Fest. Rome was so gracious to invite us there, but you know, we still got to get there. Amber's coming from Washington. We're going to be driving from Tahoe. And so, yeah, we have an awesome, fun campaign going on, a pre-sale of our very first merch drop, which is bike jerseys from Ride Force that M from Locals Creative designed. And so she's done, you know, the podcast artwork. And so I've worked with her in many different ways, and I just love everything she does.
She did our logo too.
I was going to say. And so speaking of M, didn't she do the Mothership Collective logo?
She did, and she nailed it.
Yes.
It's a spaceship with a disco ball on top and then 2 flowers below it. Yeah.
I absolutely love it. And she just has a knack for really just, I'm not a creative person as far as drawing and things. And I feel like it's very hard for me sometimes to even explain what the vision in my head is, like get it out. And somehow when I talk to her and tell her, like, she can get it out. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, how? Like, thank you. Like, it wasn't even like a clear vision in my head, but you've created it. So.
And so quickly. Like, she did the Mothership Collective logo in 8 hours. Like,
oh my God.
We did this blitz day where she banged it out, like all the ideation, everything in 8 hours. It was wild.
I wish my brain worked that way. It's amazing. It's like
I could barely give her feedback fast enough.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I just love her so much, and that's just awesome that she did your logo. And like I said, I could tell that it's just her style and like perfection. And so tell me about the Mothership Collective, like how it started, where it came from, because you said, you know, mentioned that it was kind of a side thing and it's growing. So when did you start it?
So it's fresh.
Okay.
So we just launched a month ago. So a lot has happened in a month, which has been super exciting. And even like the Mothership, the idea came to be about 2 years ago. But it was like a couple months before launch that I was sitting with my friend Keegan, and she asked me, she's like, whatever happened to that idea you had? Like, why aren't you gonna pursue that? And a light bulb went off in my head. I was just like, you're right. I need to do this. I feel so strongly about it. But the actual idea came about, honestly, before I was pregnant. Like, I was nervous to become a mom. Like, for people that love being outside, going on really big adventures, it's intimidating to be like, whoa, my life is about to really change. Yeah. And even though we like to pretend it's not gonna change, it does. Like, you need to be home a lot of times at 8 to put your baby down, and that worried me a lot. And we ended up getting pregnant right away, and I ended up finding out I was pregnant on the way to Boot Tan Fest in Colorado. And so I was meeting like 15 of our best friends. We were about to, like, for everyone who doesn't know, Bhutan Fest is like the biggest all women naked ski, and it is the best time. It's just like a festival with a bunch of gals.
That's on our list for next year. This year it was the same weekend as Sea Otter. And I've told this story, but I literally like was chat GPTing, like, what do? I don't know which one to go to. Like, It was such a hard choice, but for where I was at, like, Sea Otter made a little more sense. But I sure hope next year that it does not coincide with anything else and we can hit them all.
Well, let's go together.
Yeah,
definitely. I'm definitely going next year.
Yeah.
I've missed it now 2 years, but
That's what I was going to ask. So what year was this? When did you get pregnant?
This was 2023. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, as soon as I was flying to Denver, I got the positive test, and I was like, whoa, this weekend is about to look so different.
Yeah.
And I was immediately dry heaving and sick, but it was so empowering to be naked, covered in glitter, in the sun with 200 other girls, and just feel like such a goddess, being like, I'm growing a life, and I'm still out here doing this epic thing with a bunch of other cool people. So that happened, and then basically throughout my pregnancy, like, I felt this kind of loneliness in, you know, I was Googling like mountain biking while pregnant, and there are so few resources, which obviously, like, there's liability, and like, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not offering medical advice here.
Yeah.
But, you know, your doctor tells you at 16 weeks you have to stop XYZ. But for me, like, I felt really good on my bike still. I still felt great, like, going to do Stanford Rock and like rides that I love. Granted, I was like breathing really heavily and stayed at the back of the pack, but the one resource I found was in Juliana. They had a blog, and it was from one of their ambassadors, and it was these pictures of this woman, like, fully pregnant, huge belly, still on the trail ripping, and that was the only place where I found like basically a permission slip to be like, if you still feel good, do it and do it carefully, like, be smart about it. So that for me was like the root of the idea, was that there are a lot of influencers out there, and you see them like out camping or doing a thing, but there wasn't a communal place where all those stories came together, and like all the honesty of like, some days I didn't feel cool mountain biking. I would use the trainer, or I felt nervous. So those ideas through pregnancy, but then carrying on through motherhood, like, will I still be able to go skiing with my kid? Like, what is my life gonna look like? And just having the support of other women. And I specifically remember Wild Rye came out with their maternity chamois when I was pregnant.
Oh, I love that.
And for me, that was this cool moment, because I had just been wearing, you know, my husband Alex's chamois as I got bigger. And it was this moment of reckoning, like, okay, there's enough of a need for this that many women are out there doing it still. And I felt super empowered by that.
And like seen.
Yes.
Yeah. It's wild how little information there still is out there for women in general, right? And women's health, but especially through pregnancy or post-pregnancy or anything, when it comes to working out and that, and exercising, and that it's still, you're being told at this many weeks or whatever, like, tone it down, take it back. I go to CrossFit, and one of the gals there who's a coach, and she's been there forever, she is like, oh my God, like, my like idea of perfection, you know, just like, just beautiful, strong. I'm just like, oh my God. But she was pregnant last year, 2 years ago, and she was in the gym like the entire time up until she had that baby. And because it's like, you're doing what you think feels good. Is she doing the same intensity that she is when she's not pregnant? Like, absolutely not. But people still just think that you can't do anything. It's like, no, if I feel good squatting, like, is my range the same or weight the same? Like, no, but it's still important to move your body. And the fact that Western medicine isn't telling us this or has any real hard information on it just blows my mind. And to each their own. You know, if you don't feel comfortable continuing on doing these things, then absolutely don't. But if you do, we have to know that it isn't, that it can be safe, right? That you can do it safely. Like you said, we're not doctors, right? We're not telling you to go do the thing, but it's very much so, like, listen to your body and having a community to talk to other people and their experiences too, I think is so helpful, especially when you're just not sure because you're being told by an authority like figure, like, don't do this. But then you talk to 20 other women who no, like, baby's safe, or you're doing things safely. Just think about how you'll want to keep yourself safe anyways, even without being pregnant, right? So just listen to your body always throughout life.
Tune in. Yeah, and for me, like, I mountain biked. I remember it was week 37 for me. I was riding the Donner Rim Trail, and my baby had dropped. Like, her head was super low. And I had a moment. I turned to my husband, and I was like, this is my last ride.
Oh,
like, I just knew, okay, I'm not feeling good anymore.
Yeah.
Like, let's call it. And I had the baby like 5 days later.
Wow.
Yeah. And I attribute like my postpartum journey, my recovery, to staying fit, staying in the gym, like doing what I could. And same with, your postpartum journey. People will tell you how it should go, but every journey is so unique. And for me, I felt good like snowboarding a month after, or like I started mountain biking 6 weeks after. But that's my own personal journey.
Exactly. But that's, again, why it's so important to share, right? Because there's not a lot of that out there. You have to really sift to find it. But I feel like it can at least make you feel like you're not alone, right, in the journey. If you are even one of the women who has a harder time recovering, well, you know that you're not abnormal. If you recovered quickly, you're like, well, I'm feeling good, but like, I still don't know if I should go because everyone tells me not to. Or it's like, what? Well, trust me, like, I experienced it earlier on, not me personally, but like, it can be done. So again, just like listening to your body and how you feel. And, I'm not a mom. I've never been pregnant. I can't attest to these things, but working out, right, and keeping active, and then if you were to get pregnant, take 5 months off, well, like, of course, coming back is going to be really, really hard, but that's okay if that's your journey. If you needed to take that time off or wanted to, just know that your recovery may take a little longer, but that's totally normal, because just think about the same thing if you weren't pregnant and took all that time off. It's just not in a week that it all comes back. I mean, I take a week off the gym now and go back, I'm like, oh my God, I'm set back 3 weeks, So like, having your body go through something like pregnancy, especially, it's not just taking 5 months off doing nothing. It's like your body completely changes. So it can be quite the journey coming back, no matter if you are. I mean, again, people who do stay active during, doesn't mean their recovery is going to be super quick, but
exactly. And it's like being pregnant and being part of the motherhood journey. I think that is your permission to slow down. Like, yes, I was mountain biking. Yes, I was like dancing till 2 a.m. at weddings and stuff. But then I'd have like a 3-day hangover, basically, of just my body recovering. And so, it's definitely different. But I think it's just so cool to show women what's possible and inspire them to keep going if that's what they want to do.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that's why we're here with the podcast. That's the same exact reason, right? That's like part of your mission, part of our mission is to tell these stories that need to be heard by the masses, because we don't hear them enough. And we as women need to know that there's more of us out there supporting each other than competing against each other, and trying to get the information out there that, like, look, all of our journeys look different, but we can relate to each other in some way. And we're just here to, like, lift each other up and get more people out doing. Yeah, exactly.
Hype each other up. And that's the whole thing with the Mothership, is like, your identity through motherhood is going to change. Like, no question. That journey will change you forever, but it's the expansion of who you are. Like, the things you love to do, those don't need to disappear. And like, if you keep doing them with your kid, in my opinion, it's only going to make you a better mom, a better partner. Like, I feel so much more myself when I'm out with my daughter Ray, mountain biking, or, I just learned how to DJ.
My gosh.
My friend's a DJ, and so I'll like play a set for her in the kitchen, and she's like hands up dancing. And it's just about like finding the things that light you up. It does not need to be gnarly. Like, you don't need to go mountain bike. Like, for you, it could be yoga, or like spending time at the lake and going swimming. Like, I think for women, it's like, find the thing that makes you still feel like you.
Yes, I feel that so hard in just going through the journey of life and age. It's been something I've been thinking about a lot, just myself, kind of reflecting on the last 10 years. Like, I just had a birthday, not a special number or anything. Thank you. But the 10-year thing was coming out because I'm like, I've been in Tahoe like 10 years now. And so I'm just reflecting on the last decade here and what I was doing before being here and jumping around like every couple months somewhere else, like, you know, moved to a foreign country. I didn't speak the language and just was like, let's see how it goes, you know, making $8 a day living on a credit card of $1,000 limit, you know, like, what? Like, how was I doing this? I identified as someone who liked to run then. And
what was I thinking?
Yeah, totally. Like, not much, but like a little. And yeah, so then I was really thinking about what you said is like kind of losing yourself and part of your identity, where I'm like, man, I really do feel like I went through like 5 years of not really feeling fully myself, as just kind of going through the grind. And it was like these recent 5 years of the shit that's happened in the world, right, has been crazy. But recently, as I've been kind of doing some more things I haven't done in a while, or I don't know, letting go of some of the ego, I guess, in things, I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize that I was like missing these parts of myself. And I think it's very easy for us to, throughout our life and phases, go through that, like lose parts of ourselves, but it's like, it's not lost, they're just a little bit buried, right?
Yeah.
We just have to dig them back out. And when we put those, like when we find that piece and bring it back out, like it may look a little different. Like I was thinking, like, you know, our whole self is just a puzzle, but the pieces like evolve and change pace, but it's the same puzzle.
Exactly.
So
I love that.
like, yeah, it's like, you know, I still love biking or want to be outside and do this, but it doesn't have to look the way it did in my mid-20s.
Yes.
I don't have to go out solo and go camp and do this and like hop around and make this big move and go do this to like be the person that I am or was.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still that person.
Yeah.
The things I do just look differently. And like I said, that puzzle piece has just changed shape a little, but it's still part of the whole.
I love the puzzle piece.
I
That's
know,
good.
right? I should get my good friend who can draw to make something, an illustration about it.
And that's one of we have 3 like core people that we're speaking to with the Mothership. One is, and I love this one, the reclaiming mother. And that's for like, it could be, you know, you're 20 years out from giving birth and you want to like just rediscover something about yourself. Is it like pottery? It could be anything. That's something that like brings you back to who you are, even if that's like many years post-birth. The other one is the wild one, and that's people who are like thinking about birth, someone that's on their motherhood journey and is like, how the heck am I gonna stay wild, you know, with a kid in my life. Yeah, and the last one is Cosmic Auntie, which I love. And that, I feel like I have so many powerful cosmic aunties in my life that'll like come over and hold my baby, or just like are there to hype me up.
Yeah.
And those women, like those friendships are so key in life.
I love that term, cosmic auntie, because I'm an aunt. So
Nice.
my decision on children like isn't made. I have never put a stake in the sand of one way or the other, because I just know, and I feel like I watched this happen with my sister-in-law of like kind of saying no, like didn't want kids, and then it got to the point of like, well, we'll just stop not trying, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, well now we want to try, and now we're like really trying kind of thing. And I've just throughout my life and other decisions, I feel like I know once I make one, well then sometimes it's like as soon as I make that 180 degree opposite way, like nope, never mind, I want to do this. So like I've never wanted to say yes or no and kind of let life evolve and see what happens. And if I get that feeling of like really wanting to do it, then go ahead. And I don't want to feel like, you know, some people like, well, you're going to miss the opportunity or something with age, which that narrative has definitely changed for at least the people that are in my life and around. Like,
Yes,
and
there are
women
now, I think there are more moms over 40 than there are teen moms now.
Yeah, and like most of the people in my life are having babies like now closer to my age, you know, and don't have, I have a few, like Amber, my co-host, she has a son who's, oh my gosh, I can't remember suddenly how old he freaking is, 10? Because he has a birthday coming up in September, but she was one of my only friends, like close friends, who had a kid. And I do often think about, you know, how isolating that must have been to not have friends, close friends who had kids, and then to now be at a stage where maybe now your friends are having kids and your kid is older, and like what all that journey feels like. But also, it's not to say that she could still have another child if that's what her life wanted. Like, again, this woman that I was talking about in the gym, she had a 11-year-old and then had a baby, you know, a couple years ago or last year or something. So there's like a 10, 11 year age difference there. And I'm sure that has its own dynamic, but she as a woman like was like, no, I can still have a child, right? And is at a totally different stage of life. And so yeah, that narrative is changing. But yeah, for me, like I said, I'm like, I don't know, if I get to the point where I want to try, then I will. Otherwise, like, life's just happening, and that's how I want it to be. But I also very much so have the fear. So I love that that's what you brought up and talked about in yourself and your own journey, is that fear. Because I mean, I fucking love being an aunt. So much. Like, I just
as soon as they cry, you just kind of pass
here you
them back
go.
over.
Oh, the diaper's dirty. Like, yep, I'm out of here. Or like, let's go for that like fun activity, and then like your parents can bathe you, whatever. I sent my sister-in-law a reel I just saw that was like, my biggest fear as an aunt is telling her mom we're going for an easy ride, and then it's like this 5-year-old going off like a jump, and then like we end up at the ER with a broken arm. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the same. Like, they were in my care, and I'm like, no, it's fine, we're like, we'll take it easy, and then I return their kid broken.
That's one of my classic traits, is being a sandbagger, and I'm really trying not to do that with my daughter. I don't want to ruin her for all things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I want to talk about the fear a little bit, and because you said it, you know, it came about in your head before, like being pregnant. Were you guys decided, like, for sure, like, you wanted to have kids, or was this conversation still kind of like, we don't know because of that fear? Like, how did that go for you?
I'll be honest, like, that fear, I guess it's not so much a fear anymore, but it's still there.
Right.
You know, I think it's one of the hardest things for me and my partner as parents is like the tit for tat. You probably hear of like keeping score of who gets to go do what. I think I've finally let that go, and our daughter's like almost 2. You know, it takes a lot of adjustment to be like, okay, like, you go do a thing, and I won't feel resentment. I won't be jealous. I'm still getting to hang out with my daughter. But it's, for me, that is like one of the hardest things. Is like, who gets to do what when, and like, you still want to get after it. Like, you still want to go out with your friends, especially we were one of the first ones in our friend group to have a kid. So all our friends are still always like going to Burning Man, you know, like doing these giant weekends. And it's just an adjustment. But yeah, that fear for me, like, my husband definitely wanted kids. I was kind of like, I'm only 30, I'm not ready. And I ended up going on the Great Divide mountain bike route.
I saw that. I saw when you did that. A friend of a mutual friend of ours posted something. Who did you meet a couple people on the route, or go with someone the whole time? Yeah,
so my friend Amanda, she did the first, I think, like 800 miles with me. Then Rachel with Kama.
Okay.
She hopped in.
I think maybe it was through Rachel that I saw it in the first place. But wow, that sounds amazing.
It was the best. But I basically was like, I had wanted to do it for a really long time, and in my head it was like, I need to go do this thing before I can even consider having a child, because I knew, like, I'm not gonna be able to disappear for 3 months. You know? So for me, it was actually on that ride, weirdly, I had this moment in Steamboat. Rachel and I were on like a 0 day, and I saw this couple like using a leaf blower on their son, and like his mouth was just like filled with air, and it was just like this adorable, goofy scene I was watching. And I think for me, it triggered this kind of like, you can have this like silly, fun, adventurous relationship with your kid, and like your motherhood journey doesn't need to look like Pinterest. Like, it can be what your life looks like today. And it was just this weird like flip the switch moment for me, where I was riding the next day and I thought to myself, like, okay, I could maybe see that. And then it was, you know, a year later that we tried. But yeah, I did not I didn't see motherhood for myself for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where I still think there is pressure, right, in society, and that's something people still ask you, especially if you've been in a relationship a long time. Like, oh, when are you having kids? Again, I think the narrative is like a little quieter, but also, I guess, depending on where you're at or who you're around, I think families who were raised a certain way, maybe they still get that a lot, right? Like, I don't get that anymore, especially because my brother has 3 kids, so it's like, yeah. I'm like, all right, we're set there for the grandchildren. I can chill and be the aunt, you know.
And even like as soon as I had Ray, I feel like the immediate question from people was
When's
like,
the next?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, guys, I just had a baby. Like, give me a beat.
You can be absolutely okay with just one child. There's many out there, and that can be it and perfect for you all. But, you know, yeah, some people take a little more time between, right, to see how life is and adjust, because I'm sure adding a second child isn't, I'm sure there's easier things about the second, but there's also things that make it much harder now to figure out, like, oh, there's 2 now. Like, the dynamic's very, very different in your activities, I bet.
Yeah.
And the tit for tat thing, I resonate with that with even out having a kid, right?
Yeah.
Of like, well, you get to go do this. And like, even just with dogs, where I'm like, well, I want to go do something now solo, just like in a long-term relationship, just finding balance in your relationships at all. Can't imagine throwing an actual baby into that makes it tenfold. And I feel like especially on the mother's side, because there is still just the need for the mom to be around a lot more in the early stages. I feel like even if you're not breastfeeding, right, but you're maybe pumping, or I don't know, it just
you're tethered.
Majority of the time, that early stages, the mom is around more or needs to be around more, or wants to be, right? Because now your life has changed and you do just want to be around this tiny being. So did you have any feelings during this time, which maybe you still have, but where like you are dying, right, to go out on a bike ride, but then say that time comes, you're like, okay, I have the opportunity to go out on a bike ride, but now I don't know if I want to, because like I really don't want to leave this little baby.
100%, especially like if you're working all day, or like Ray, our daughter's in daycare, and like I don't see her most of the day, and so my time with her is like 4 to 8 p.m. So if I go choose to do something with friends or ride, like I might miss a day with her.
Yeah.
And so oh my gosh, motherhood is all about like contradicting feelings.
Yeah.
You're like, I need this for myself, but I want to be there for my child, and I also want family time.
Yeah.
Like my partner and I went through a period where I feel like we were switching off so much that we were both like, we need to hang out as a family unit because I haven't seen you in a week, you know? So it's a balance, and it's something that I think like we'll continue to navigate for Ray's like entire life.
Yeah.
You know? It's definitely gotten better. Like I feel like right when I was postpartum, I had a lot of built up resentment of like, I had insomnia for 5 months. Like my body doesn't look like it used to. A lot of just like identity crisis stuff that made me more resentful of my partner anytime he went to go do something.
Yeah.
'Cause I was breastfeeding and doing all the things, and that really builds.
Yeah.
But you have to let it go. But it's good to like mourn who you were, like take time to be like, yeah, things have changed.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely amazing moments that you have, but postpartum it's definitely challenging to let go of a lot of that stuff.
I can't imagine. I mean, I feel like I would have kind of a hard time with that. And that's where some of my fear stems from, is really, and I've told people this, that it's like, I don't know, really, like, I think I'm a very strong person mentally and physically, but I also know where my weaknesses are. And I'm like, one of my biggest worries is really the mental aspect of pregnancy and after, and like being able to cope with like that identity change, but knowing, like, so you can still do the things, it just looks a little different, right? But like, and I know if you shouldn't let fear hold you back, whatever, we've already had that conversation. That's not what's stopping me. But those things come into my mind of, like, do I want to put myself through that? Like, do I want to knowingly step into a position that it could do this to me? But again, that is like the fear holding you back type thing. But
And I will say,
also
like,
think it's a little bit of self-awareness.
Yes. And it's good to know yourself.
Yeah.
Like, if you know that about yourself, maybe, yeah, you'll have a different path.
Yeah.
But I will say, I feel like I smile 100x a day.
Yeah.
Like, the joy that they bring, like, no matter how hard a night was, like, you go camping and you don't sleep all night, your baby's crying in a tent, but you wake up and they're, like, eating a banana on a rock by the lake. You're just like, this is
worth it. It's like the down was worth the climb, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
and we had our first event.
I was gonna say, I mean, you've only been at the Mothership Collective a month, and I saw some footage of the camp out that you did, and I think that's so cool. So yeah, tell us a little bit about that, and then what else, like the Mothership overall, like what you hope to kind of do with it, at least of what you see now, whether that's more events or what kind of community you envision for it.
Yeah, I think originally when I created the Mothership, I was like, okay, this is going to be an online community, lots of blogs, lots of stories, lots of fun reels and like things people can like feel seen and relate to. But we had this Cosmic Campout this weekend. It was so fun. We went out to Downeyville in California, and we did a 2-nighter. The first night was like pretty small. We camped out on Packer Saddle on this like beautiful ridge overlooking an alpine lake. And we had about like 25 people, 8 kids.
Wow.
And it was so special. Like everyone, all the kids were playing together, covered in dirt, like just having the best time. And yeah, we biked, we traded off biking at Downeyville, we swam, we had a giant like cheese board, which is the best thing to have camping always. And then we had a little DJ set and the kids were all dancing. Everyone was in like fun Burning Man-esque outfits. And yeah, we danced for many, many hours into the night. And yeah, that event honestly sparked a lot in me. Just realizing, like when we posted that video of, you know, all of us dancing with the kids and stuff, the amount of DMs I got asking when is the next one was so amazing and validating. I got this email from this gal who owns Missouri River Guides. It's basically, she's like a raft guide in Montana on the upper Missouri, and she sent me an email that was like, let me plan a rafting trip for the Mothership.
I love that.
It's like, yes. So, and that made me cry. It was just like, sometimes you question, like, are people getting the mission and understanding it? And to get those responses is just so exciting. And yeah, I think it's really got my wheels spinning on what we can do for events.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so inspired by things like Rome Fest, Boot Tan. Like, that's our core demo.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yes. Yeah.
And yeah, already we're planning like a Dames of Dirt, Moms Gone Wild ride in
August.
Love it. We're gonna do something. I'll be back in Asheville, North Carolina in September. So we're gonna plan something there. And then I'm thinking October will be the next like local Cosmic Campout.
That's so cool. So cool to see. And so, you know, I can understand that fear of like, is this gonna work, right? Do people care? Do people want this kind of thing? And then to get that feedback that it's hitting.
Yeah.
It just, you're like, okay, like, yes, I know. Like, it feels connected now. And like, this is it. And this is the thing. And I feel that it's so needed. Again, not even being a mom, but knowing that there's just not that information out there for women, or how just lonely and isolating it can feel, like just aging as a woman and getting older and losing maybe some of your friend groups changing, whether people moved or became moms or just hobbies changed, whatever it is. I think we all go through the times where we feel a little bit isolated, and I think especially when people start becoming parents. Was the camp out family or all moms?
It was family.
Okay.
Which was really nice. And really that's like what the Mothership is about, is like to get out there with your family. I really wanted to make it all women at first, but then I realized the moms would just be on the whole time and get less time to actually hang out and have a dance party, etc. So we'll see if the next one's just gonna be moms, because I did get quite a few messages that were like, when's the next just mom and kid event?
Yeah.
So I think like for a lot of moms, it's just about having like the space to go.
Yeah.
Like the motivation of like, okay, there's gonna be 30 other moms with their kids. The babies might cry all night.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny. It was probably like 7 p.m. People are putting their kids down. There's like 3 babies crying in tents, and one of our friends was joking. He was like, wow, camping with kids is so fun. Yeah. And like, it was great.
But we're all going through this together.
Yeah.
And, well, I think there's room for all of that in this, where like families, right? Especially for the dads to be a part of it and just everyone be supported. And the dads themselves, I'm sure, obviously have their own struggles with becoming a parent too. So it's like, let's not forget that men are also going through changes and whatnot in life when they become parents. And so having each other in this could be very helpful as well in just showing support for your partner and your child. But having the spaces too, that I'm sure where it's like, yeah, just the ladies and their kids has its own special thing. As we know, like all women only like events has their own magic. Yeah. Absolutely. So, I mean, and it sounds great where it's like, like Cosmic Aunts, you know? It's like, yeah, have like you said, you don't want the moms just to be on all the time. I'm sure it's like, okay, take turns, like groups go out and, you know, other people watching your kid. It's like, we evolved from living communally, right? And doing that. Like
exactly.
Having the community where everyone's kind of raising each other's kids. So that's got to be cool to like be a part of and put that kind of back together where it's not just you and your family on your own doing it, but you truly have that community to rely on and talk to. And community is just missing, I think, so much in our world today because of what it's become, and especially what's happened the last few years. It's gone even more out the window. I think there's a lot of things that are bringing it back. We're realizing like we really did miss that, and like how do we get it back and full force and do more of it?
And they say, like, it takes a village for a reason. But I was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking a lot about how society today, like, people don't live near their families anymore. And, like, it used to be where you'd have your mom, your grandma, like, all these people who could educate you and support you. And now everyone's so spread out that, like, for a lot of people, like, I have my sister in Reno, which is amazing, but no one up here. And it's like, my friends are my family. Like, they are the ones that are, like, helping me raise my daughter. And so to just connect other women with other women who want to get outside, want to, you know, be adventurous still, it's really special. It's amazing. It sounds amazing. It's so cool seeing that, like, all the growth you've had in the short amount of time and the potential that is already there, people reaching out to you saying they want to be a part of it and do events like with or for you. And I know things like Rome Fest has these affinity rides where they put these group rides together where it's like mother rides, but I don't think there's kids there right now at Rome. But, you know, something like that could be possible, a bike fest where it is like, here's the day that is set aside to, or the whole weekend, whatever, where you're riding with your kiddo. But there's also time where, you know, you can go out in groups of just moms going out or something, right? I think you need space for both. Like, it's like
absolutely.
You wanna, if someone's never camped with their kid before, it's like, you probably want to like be with other people, have the support. But you also need space for moms to just freaking go wild. No one, in my opinion, like no one parties harder than a mom who has like someone watching their child. It's so fun.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, even just hearing from you, because it is just inspiring and gives me the feelings like, all right, look at that. Like, community, you don't have to be so worried about your life just completely falling off the rails or anything. And just as I go through, you know, life and having more friends who are having kids, that like, I think in some way there's going to be more kids in my life anyway. I have 3, you know, I'm an aunt to 3, a niece and 2 nephews. And like I said, as friends have kids, it's like they're going to be in my life in some way. So knowing that like I can, you know, hang out with someone with a kid and not feel like anything's gonna be different is also nice.
Your conversation may be truncated because all the distractions, but you'll still get to hang out.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
But just having space for it all, I think is really, really important. And I think what you're doing is awesome with the Mothership Collective. And I'm excited to see like where it goes and what other kind of collaborations come up along the way for you. Do you have anything coming up like next on the docket in the next few weeks or so that people can like keep their eyes out for? Or I see you obviously are wearing some merch too, so tell the people if are these one-offs or can they get some of this?
They can get some. Yeah, we have merch, we've got shirts. I love biking in this. It's like the cropped boxy comfort colors tee, but we've got mom hats instead of dad hats.
Yes.
Yeah, we have lots of fun stuff. There's going to be a lot in the works. We're definitely in planning mode right now with events. I think right now my goal is to have one a month wherever I am, whether it's a full-on camp out or something more accessible, like moms meet for a beer and Cosmic Aunties. Let's all just like hang out by the lake or something. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. And then beyond, we're trying to do, you know, a weekly story from a collective community member. So if you have a story to tell, which I'm sure you do, then please reach out, because it's been just so cool, the amount of women who are like, I'd love to talk about this that happened to me, or share how I, you know, tips for skiing while pregnant, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Please share, because that's what makes the Mothership Collective so special, is just hearing from people.
Yeah, the real stories, right? The real journeys of it all. So again, the point of the podcast mission is to make people feel less alone, right? To relate to at least one other person out there. Sounds like you guys have that similar mission of like, yeah, share that crazy story, the good, the bad, like, so anyone else out there knows like this happens, right? It's normal, it's okay.
Yes.
And
we're here for you.
yeah, we're in it together, even if we are far away, but let's also find that space and place where we can come together. So
Yeah.
that's really cool. Well, before we end it here on this beautiful dock, is there anything else you want to leave the people with, where to find, how to connect or whatnot?
I would say Instagram is our main platform at the moment. We send out a few emails when we have new stories to share or events to share. But I think my biggest piece of advice for anyone who's on this journey is like, just do it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I think like the worst that can happen if you take your baby camping is like they cry or like have a blowout in the backpack, but it's like they would do that at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So just do it, and you know, like reach out to us is the biggest thing, and share what you've got, your story, you know?
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story. I really wanted to get more into the Irish step dancing, but we will for sure
We'll do that
come
later.
back to that. I meant to take lessons from you. I seriously always wished that I was an Irish step dancer. I could just
amazing.
bust it out whenever. So
A lot of people request it.
yeah. Like, watch out now that I know.
Yeah. We can have dock lessons
Yeah,
here.
totally. Awesome. Well, thank you everybody out there listening, and maybe even some of you watching on this beautiful scenery. And we will talk to you all next week. Bye.